Who You Gonna Call?
Para X Radio with Dave Jones and John Zaffis.
On CBS Radio's The New Sky. 248-545-SOUL. NewSkyRadio.com.
And welcome back to the Para X Radio Show on CBS Radio and Para X Radio Network. We're glad that you're with us tonight. Our big thanks to Hilly Rose, legendary broadcaster, just chock full of experiences and wisdom about the paranormal. We're so thankful to have him on with us tonight. He's agreed to come back at another show, and we appreciate that so much, so we will let you know when that happens so that you can enjoy Hilly once again. Now we take a different turn because the guest of our show tonight, we do have some guests with us to talk about her. And if you remember a movie back not too long ago based on a novel that Stephen King wrote called Christine, I read the novel, and I got a chance to watch the movie. And all of you know the star of that movie. It was a 58 Plymouth Fury. It was a beautiful car that had supernatural tendencies to it. That may be the best way to put that. We got the great opportunity back in May of '09. We were at a TAPS event at Buffalo Central Terminal in Buffalo, New York. And one of the things that really thrilled me, not only being there with the stars of Ghost Hunters, not only being there with John Zaffis, not only being there with the Reverend Tim Shaw and many others that were having this event and doing and broadcasting from there, but someone came up and said, "Hey, guess what? Christine is here." And that's all it took. When they told me Christine, I knew exactly what they were talking about. And we went outside into the lobby area, and here sat Christine. And we were just thrilled to see Christine up close and personal, because this is one of those iconic, emblematic things that you get a chance to see. You get the chance to stand next to it. It was terrific. And we have some folks with us tonight that are from the ChristineCarCLub in Buffalo, New York. We got an opportunity to interview them on air at the Buffalo Central Terminal, and we're thrilled to have them back with us again tonight. We have Wayne DeGeorge and Chaney Ponton with us from the ChristineCarCLub of New York. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, our pleasure, sir. We are, and both of you, we appreciate you so much here. We're trying to get in touch with Chuck Sayre. We'll have Chuck on here in just a little bit. We had a little difficulty reaching him.
Yeah, Chuck just called me. He should be joining us soon.
Okay, terrific. I'll try to call him in here in just a moment. As a matter of fact, let me do it now. Let's see if we can. You're going to hear some ringing, so I apologize, folks out there, but we do want to get a chance to get Chuck in on this. Chuck contacted me and wanted to know if we would be able to do this, and I certainly want to make sure we get him in. So forgive the ringing. It's going to be happening.
Hello.
Hey, Chuck, you are live. Hey, this is Dave Jones of Para X Radio. Chuck Sayre's with us, folks, along with Wayne DeGeorge and Chaney Ponton from the ChristineCarCLub of New York. Gentlemen, welcome once again to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tell us what started this. We'll let you go in what order you like. Why Christine, and why a car club about it?
Well, I think that should probably be me to answer that question. Years and years ago, I had read the book, and in 1983, although I was a young kid, probably 14 years old, snuck in to see the movie. And the car had such an impact on me, it never left me. It's kind of one of those things where I made a promise to myself as a young person that one day I would own that car. And needless to say, years and years later, I bought one. And, it was it's the kind of thing, the affinity for the car, the interest in the book and the movie, where I wanted to find like-minded people, and we got a couple folks together, and we founded the ChristineCarCLub in January 2005. And since that time, Dave, it's been shocking that this kind of interest that that movie still has. We have almost 1,000 members now and their families from all over the world, and there's quite a few people that are taken by or possessed by Christine.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, because when they mentioned Christine was there at the Buffalo Central Terminal, I knew exactly what they were talking about, and I had to go out there, and I got an opportunity to have my picture taken along with the Ghost Hunters crew with Christine, and I've got that right on my desktop even to this day, because I keep going back and looking at that. It just, as I said, one of those iconic things that you look back on and say, wow. Now, let me ask Wayne this. To be a part of the club, you have to actually own a 58 Plymouth. Is that correct?
No, that's actually untrue. You do not have to own a car to be a member. We welcome enthusiasts of the book, enthusiasts of the movie, people that actually own the cars that are trying to restore 58 Plymouths. If you have even just a passing fancy and you'd like to brush up on the book or the movie, the club is for everyone.
Ah, terrific. Now, I think it might have been Chuck that told me this, or Wayne. It may be Wayne, or you, or I'm not sure exactly who it was that told me this factoid. When we were there, because as we were doing the interview then, and Chaney, please chime in on this as well. How many were there of the Christine cars that were a part of the movie? I know there wasn't just one, because obviously there was a lot of damage that was done and it had to be retouched, if you will. But Chaney, how many were a part of the movie itself? How many Christines were there?
I know two to three cars survived today. Chuck, how many exactly were used, Chuck?
Yeah, there was anywhere from 20 to 22 cars that were bought for the movie. 17 were made. 17 were made mobile and were used for the film for various parts. And of course, they were retouched and stuff like that for certain scenes. So it was right around that number.
Sure. And you said that there are 3 now that have survived, or roughly.
Well, I know of 2 right now. There possibly could be a third one, but it's unclear right now whether it's real or not. But I know definitely for a fact there are 2. One's in California and one's in Florida.
Ah, okay. Now, when each of you, what's your experience with the Christine? Do each of you 3 own a 58 Plymouth, or how does that work out with you guys that are here with us?
Yeah, that was actually my car you took the picture with.
Okay, terrific. Yeah, beautiful thing. I'm just all inspired by it. Got to get a chance to get a look at it. It's restored beautifully. Just a gorgeous car. And this is something that you guys, obviously, as mentioned before, you read the book, you saw the movie. It's just something that you really wanted to be a part of. What did you have interest in restoring cars, particularly antique cars, if you will? Is this something that was a part of your life before Christine?
Speaking for myself, it wasn't only because I was, too young at the time, but I did become a fan of classic cars and muscle cars. But no matter what type of a car I owned, I had a Camaro, a Trans Am. It never really filled the void for me. And finally, one day I said, if I'm going to, stay in this hobby, I'm going to have to figure out which car it is that I want. I went to bed one night and just kind of woke up out of a sound sleep and said, Christine. And I happened to have an old VHS tape from years back and ran downstairs about 2 in the morning, watched it, and I said, that's my car. And since then I've been fortunate enough to get my hands on a real 58 Plymouth Fury. Chuck also has a 58 Plymouth, and Chaney as well. So, but we're just a few. There's quite a few people out there that own these cars.
Terrific.
Yeah, as far as myself, I've played with the antique cars all along. But when Chance came up to get a 58 Plymouth, I joined the car club because there's a lot of restoration-type tech articles and stuff on the board, the forum, where it actually helps people when they do restore their own car. So it actually, it helps out everybody in the hobby as far as some of them come to the club that doesn't have a car, and they leave, they over time end up getting a car, usually from someone in the club itself.
Yeah, Chuck, how about you? What's your background with this? Is it?
I've always been an enthusiast of classic cars. My dad passed that down to me. He used to take me to car shows and things like that. And I think my very first picture was on the hood of a '60 Corvette my dad owns. So it's been ongoing. I've always had something for like movie cars. I've owned 2 Trans Ams. I've owned a '78 black T-top Trans Am, and I actually owned a '77 Bandit edition Trans Am. So I was always, into that type of thing. But again, seeing the movie came on TV one day, and I had just gotten rid of the car, and things were kind of changing in my life, and I was able to get it, and so I bought the '58 Plymouth, and basically got involved in the club, and it's been history from there. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, yeah. Now, of course, we got to go to break here in just a minute. These guys are going to be on with us for another 15 minutes after this. I've got one big question I want to ask of each of them, but just a quick question if I can. We've got about a minute. How tough is it to find parts for 58 Plymouth now? And you guys go in whichever order you prefer. Let's go with Wayne. How tough is it to get parts to restore?
Believe it or not, Dave, it's extremely difficult. That's one of the main reasons that the club was founded. It's not a '57 Chevy. You can't go into a catalog and buy parts from one of these cars. You have to scrimp and scrape and find whatever you can wherever you can, and it's extremely difficult. That's one of the main reasons the club was founded. In fact, to help enthusiasts and builders of these cars network and get together so that they can trade or sell one another extra parts that they don't necessarily need. And like I said, it is not a cookie-cutter car. And as time goes on, it's becoming more and more difficult to own one and build one. Finding a car at this stage of the game is an enormous challenge. But again, there's enough people networked around the world now in the club that, if there's a part that you need, we can find it.
Sure. We got to go to break. We'll be right back with these guys. We're going to talk about their website, their car club, and a little bit more about Christine when we come right back. This is the Para X Radio Show on CBS Radio. Back in just a few.